What up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be talking about how to set up ProPresenter. And the first thing we're going to talk about is connecting to your screens. How do we get these images and these elements happening within the software, and how do we connect them to our external screens? Well, the first way you could do it is you could literally plug an HDMI cable into your computer, and then you could plug the other end of that HDMI cable into your source, into your projector, into your TV, into your LED wall, into your output source. You could do that, but HDMI has a little bit of limitations. There's only so far that an HDMI signal can go before the signal gets degraded. So, what a lot of people do, and what we're doing here, is we're actually converting the video signal from the computer into another type of cable called SDI. And SDI is a much more robust cable. It can run much longer distances, and it even has a locking connector, so it's a little more secure. And the way that we're converting all of our ProPresenter outputs into SDI is we're using what's called a deck link. There's lots of different modules out there, but basically what the deck link does is it takes all of our ProPresenter information and then it can split out those different feeds into different areas via SDI. So it's basically got 4 SDI outputs that we can then send wherever we want. So to summarize, we basically have a Thunderbolt cable coming from our iMac going out to the deck link, which has a chassis with a Thunderbolt port in it. So Thunderbolt out of the iMac into the deck link, and then the deck link can then split everything off, and it can also convert it to SDI. And so that's how we're actually physically connecting to our screens. But let's look at the software and how we're connecting to our screens there. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the screens setting right here, and you can see we've got audience and we've got stage, but we're going to go to configure screens. And since I already have everything mapped out here, you can see all of our outputs here on the audience side of things, and you can also see all of our outputs on the stage displays. So what do we need to do to add a new output? We can just hit the plus button, of course, and you can actually see this is the deck link. This is each of those SDI ports that we can come out of. So that's the hardwire way to do it. We can even go NDI, which is how to send it over the network. And we've got a couple other options here. And then once we've got our output, we can see exactly what the output target is. We can see what kind of scaling is happening to it. We can see the resolution and the frame rate. We can even adjust the color. We can adjust the positions. We can set up our alpha key. We can do everything within this main output. And so one more thing on this screen configuration window is if you're in a room that you're a little unfamiliar with, you can actually hit this identify screens button, and it will tell you what ProPresenter is seeing on the screen side of things, and same with the output side of things. And so that's how you connect ProPresenter to your screens. It's basically the computer detecting what kind of outputs are available for it, and then you can just pick. And so that's how we configure our screens. Now let's configure our stage display. Our stage display is the screens that are facing the stage. So our performers, our pastors, our worship leaders, our volunteers can see what's happening from the stage. And so we can go right here to stage right here. We can also access it from more right here, and we can go to stage editor. And here's where we can customize exactly what our stage display looks like, which is super powerful. There's a lot of different layouts here that you can create. There's a lot of built-in ones that are awesome within ProPresenter. You can customize your own by using this plus button right here. You can add text, you can add previews, you can add chord charts even. You can add Planning Center Live notifications and timers and all kinds of stuff in here. And so we're using this one right now, and we've got all the elements of this slide right here. And this stage message one is actually blacked out because I'm just hiding it. But if I display it, this is the stage message. This is where it would pop up. If we ever have to message somebody that's on the stage, we can send them a little message right here. But for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to hide it. And so you can see this layout has the current slide text over up top, and then it's got the next slide text on the bottom, meaning they can see what's currently displayed on the screen, and they can also know what's coming up. This is very useful for lyrics and your pastors as they're preaching their points. We've also got some timers here that we've talked about. This is the timer for how long they have to preach. It's not actually 754 minutes, don't worry. Um, then we've got a system clock here, and we've also got a video countdown clock here, which is very helpful in a live environment. And so that's kind of the stage display. And over here, we can even control what our text looks like, all of the size, any kind of effects we want on that text, obviously the bold, the font, all that stuff. We can affect the shapes and what these look like. We can have these basically fill in shapes if we want, and we can add any of those from here too. So that is how we configure our stage displays.